Hey, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Mary Guy, and I am here to share my walk as I'm progressing through my May 2025 goals. It is close to the end of this month, and I'm so excited because I can see from my videos this month titled Self Discipline. This is my first month uploading videos and setting goals and really focusing on self discipline as I'm making progress on the goals. And I can already see how far I've come. There are areas that I've been made aware that I need to work on. And so, preparing for the upcoming month, I'm kind of dwelling on those things and coming together in my mind of some possible goals that I can add in as my June 2025 goals. But um, I've been excited about sharing these things. It really has benefited me very much with sharing how I'm doing on my goals. And yeah, so there's just so much growth. And even just watching my videos, you can see that evidently there's growth and there's effectiveness with how self discipline can bring about when I'm progressing on my goals. And so I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. For this video, I'm kind of doing a little bit differently. Normally, towards the end of the week, I'll share how to implement discipline in the area, whichever area that I'm focusing on for that week. The first week, which was the fourth, because I didn't really count the first, second, third for this particular goal, but from the fourth through the ninth, or through the fourth through the 10th, I focused on implementing discipline in the area of my mind, my mental state, my my career, my finances. And then May the 11th through the 17th, I focused on implementing discipline in the area of my body. And so those areas are um, physical, recreation, and organization. And then last week, the 18th through the 24th, and I'm looking at my calendar over here for those dates, I focused on implementing discipline in the areas of my heart, relationship. What are the different categories? In my relationship, kind of drew a blank. So for that week, and this was last week, so I should remember, but yeah, emotion and social. So for my heart, in the areas of relationship, emotional, and social. And then this week, on the thumbnail, it shows that I'm actually going to discuss how to implement. So I'm kind of preparing myself because this area of my life is very important to me. Not to say that the other areas are not. I think all of them go hand in hand. But just to close out this week, I want to go ahead and get a jump start and learning ways and learning more about ways to implement discipline in the areas of my soul as it relates to my character, my purpose, my spirituality. So today, once I go through my goals towards the end, I'm going to share ways in which to implement discipline in the areas of your soul. And that's speaking more to your character, your purpose, and your spirituality. So I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into my goals and share how I've progressed on my goals. If this is your first video, please comment, like, and subscribe. There are many other videos. As I stated, I've been on this self journey this whole month. So each day this month, there's a video that I've uploaded sharing my progress. I've shared so many different things that I feel I love to even go back and watch and hear and remind myself. So if you feel free to do that, I would advise you to. And I've made it easily accessible for you to be able to do so by creating a playlist with all these videos, and they're uploaded in the order that I've uploaded them. So actually go back and watch them. So let me start again I always start by sharing what my goals are. So for the month of May, my goals word. My first goal is to earn at least $2,000 from a supplementary income that I have been doing for so many years. I've been doing since, I know I said around 2021, but well, yeah, it probably was around 2021 when I actually started. Goal number 2, and actually it was probably before 2021. I'm trying to think if it was 2021. Goal number 2, pay off Chase credit card. The balance was $13.84 at the beginning of this month. Goal number 3, lose at least 10 pounds. My starting weight was 239 pounds, and that's what I weighed on April the 27th. Goal number 4, start SQL course on Microsoft to advance skill. Goal number 5, read, study, and meditate on discipline. And goal number 6, implement discipline in all areas of my life. So let me go ahead and share with you guys how I've progressed on goal number 1, earning at least $2,000 from a supplementary income. Again, at the end of this week, I will actually share on the 31st this Saturday, I will share what this actual supplementary income is, and I'll even go into details, some of the things that I think that people would want to know related to the supplementary income. So for the first 3 days of this month, I actually earned $370, which gave me a remaining amount of $1,629. Second week, $369. Third week, $373. Fourth week, $340, and this is a long month, so there's a fifth week here. And so you can see today I actually earned, Sunday I earned $162. That was the first Sunday out of this whole month that I was able to earn money due to, as I disclosed in a previous video, normally on my weekends is the time that I kind of spend quality time with my boyfriend. Me and him spend time together. So I don't focus on earning money from this venture on that particular day. But this weekend, our schedules kind of conflicted to where I was able to earn because we didn't have that time of visit. And so, so that $162 really helped me out with the remaining balance that I have. And then today, earning the 56 additional dollars helped me out as well. So, as always, I like to do a little bit of math. I like to take the remaining amount that I need to make to meet my goal, subtracted by the amounts that I've earned so far this week. Ooh. And so if I take that 546, subtract 162.75, subtract 56.07, that gives me a remaining amount of $327.77. And if I were to do some just looking back at what I was able to do, because as you can notice, like, for example, if I were just to look at last week and assume that I'm able to earn money on the days that I earned last week, because last week I earned a total of $340 Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. And I actually made over the amount that I'm needing to earn, $327. And then on the week before, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if I were to subtract 373.38 minus 81.4, that gives me 291. That's a little bit below what I need to earn for this week, but it is somewhere in that ballpark. And then the previous week, the second week, I earned 369, and then the first week I earned 370. So out of the 4 weeks in the past that I have earned money on this venture, 3 out of those weeks, for the remaining amount of time from Tuesday to Saturday, I've actually earned more than what I need to earn this week. So that gives me a good idea of the possibilities, how probable it is for me to earn this remaining $327.77. So pretty much I am on my way to exceeding this goal. I am on my way to exceeding this goal by far. Definitely. And so I'm just pushing myself each day, staying the course, not, trying to take any days off necessarily because I just want to see how much I can earn this week. And considering this is also going to be the first week this month that I'm able to earn each day. And so I just would want to see what that would be if I were to actually earn money each day. How much money would that actually be? And so I'm very optimistic on this goal. Again, on this next slide, I'm sharing a graph, a bar graph that kind of shows how much money I've earned on this supplementary income so far this year. As you can see, if I were to total all of those up, I don't think I've done that. 80.56 plus, I'm sure I have it on my spreadsheet where this is pulled from. So I'm just taking all of those amounts and I am adding them together. So from January to April, I have earned so far $4,910. And then if I add the 1672.23, that's like $6,500. $6,582.44. And this is the month of May. If I continue with this, I could at least earn 15,000 additional dollars towards my income for this year. And that is a good amount of income. And this is just like one of those supplementary things that I do. There are some others that I'm going to be focusing my monthly goals on that you will be made aware of. Next month, I already have something in mind that I really, really have been trying. And I've actually had this for years as well. And I've earned here and there, but I really want to try to gear myself up to earning more from that venture. So 15,000 additional dollars is a big, 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 big plus. Big plus in my opinion. And so I'm really, really excited how far this is going to go for the end of this year. Goal number 2, pay off Chase credit card. Again, I have my handy dandy, just simple paper copy of what I am striving to pay off. And I actually have paid this off. So I've already marked it off in my little chart that I was holding up. And I'm already preparing myself for the next thing, which is the TV that I bought for my son last year. I think it was Christmas time. I actually bought it December. I actually bought it prior to December, of course, because you got to give time for it to be, because it actually had to be delivered here. So I think in November I went and scouted it out, see how much it cost. It was actually around Black Friday. So supposedly I'm supposed to be, I actually saved, they say, Black Friday. So I'm actually paying this off well in advance because I'm actually paying it off this month in June, and it's a 24-month lease. But I don't ever like to go based off of what these stores tell you or the amount of time they say that they'll give you to pay your stuff off, because generally speaking, if you go to that point, you're actually going to wind up paying double the price, because after 12 months they're going to start adding on interest, which really is going to be almost like buying two of what you already bought. And I try to just pay it off because I just want to pay off what the amount was. And so I've already calculated how much I actually owe remaining on the next balance, which is $1,580, and how much I would have to pay each week next month in order to meet that. And that would be $395 for the 4 weeks. Let me do my calculations again just to make sure I have that right. So 1580.14 divided by 4, $395. Yep. That's how much. So I've shared in previous videos. This kind of relates to my finance, my budget. I have so many videos related to finance and budgets. And so I may later on think about snipping those, or maybe, I mean, it's kind of hard to snip because I've kind of embedded it so much throughout the video that really the whole video is of use and need. So that's just to give a foresight of where I'm going with that particular goal and moving on. Goal number 3, as you can see how I was excited on this past Sunday, that I am actually down to 227.4 pounds. So I am actually below my weight goal for this month. And I am looking forward to see what my weight is going to be June the 1st. So I'm really staying on track this week, not doing anything out of my diet habit, my nutritional habit, not doing anything that's going to affect my progress because I have worked so hard. And out of all these weeks that I've worked so hard on making this change, I want it to be reflective when I step on that scale. So that keeps me grounded and disciplined because I'm looking at how far I've come so far and how far I want to go. In the last video I shared, and I actually have it still linked in the description below, my BMI. I actually calculated my BMI. Actually, my phone did because on Samsung Health they do that. It took me a minute to find it, but I typed in my weight, my height, and I already knew. And my BMI was like 35.6, which put me in the class 6 or class 2 is what it said on Google. Class 2 obesity, which is kind of, shocking when you think about the word being labeled obese. When you think about being labeled obese, you just, yep. So that's my BMI. My BMI is 35.6. And to be in a healthy BMI range, I would want to be in between 18.5 and 25. My BMI should be somewhere in between then to be healthy. And I mean, my weight was up to where I was at 41.6. So to be down a distance of about 3.2 indexes is actually a pretty good thing. And that's going to actually go down further and further. And this time around, because I'm focusing on self-discipline, this is going to be that time where I'm going to maintain. Once I reach my goal, there's no going back after this. This self-discipline is going to help me maintain it. It's the key that I've been missing for the past years when I've been losing and then slacking off and then gaining and then coming back and then losing and then slacking off. I didn't maintain my discipline. And so that's why I've had years where my weight has increased, decreased. But now that I'm focusing on discipline, this is going to be the key to it all. Goal number 4, I want to start a sequel course, and I finished this in a matter of 4 days after I set aside of time in my schedule. I made it a part of my routine. I blocked off a set of amount of time each day, Monday through Friday, that I will focus on education during my work. Since this relates to my work, I put it in my work schedule, my routine at work. And after I did that, I was able to finish this in no time. Prior to doing that, it was like, oh man, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have any time. So normally whenever I have the excuse of not having time, for me, it normally lets me know that I'm not managing my time good, or I need to manage my time better. And so that lets me go back into my schedule that I have hour by hour, which I've shared on a previous video, the routine that I've created for myself. I will revisit that and figure out, well, what time during the time that I have on my schedule am I able to set aside for this particular item. And I found that time at the beginning of my workday, the first hour of my work, I will focus towards some form of a course. And when I did that and started that on the 19th, you can see that I've finished this whole course in a matter of 4 days. So routines work. Goal number 5, reading and studying and meditating. That's what I've been doing. And that's what I'm continuing to do. And that's what I'm actually going to be sharing today. Studying about discipline in the areas of my soul. But the first week, to jumpstart off, I came across this statement in the book titled The Power of Self-Discipline that shares the importance of having self-discipline and how it impacts me and how it will catapult me to rising above mediocrity. But if I don't have it, even if I'm talented or intelligent, I may not even rise above mediocrity. And that shows me that if I don't get a hold of this self-discipline, I'm going to be hindering myself in life. And I don't want to be a hindrance to myself. The second week, I focused on behavior, routine, and habits, and how habits and routines can help me be more effective in achieving my goal. And I've actually implemented that with my goal number 4 with the sequel course by making a routine for studying and going through the course in order to achieve that goal. Goal number week 3, I looked at budgeting a whole lot because I was going out of town. I went out of town on the 10th for Mother's Day weekend. I went out of town on the 17th for a wedding. And so those 2 times required me to budget prior to, and it actually prompted me to look back at my spending, to track my spending. And I was appalled at how much money I was actually spending on just random stuff in the grocery store. And I actually did a video where I shared how much money I was spending since January, like each month, how much money have I spent each month so far this year on going to the store. And so I came across this where it says that to better yourself with budgeting, it's important to learn to pay yourself first. Prioritize saving before spending. And so this has been a resonating statement for me that I've come back to focus on throughout these weeks of being better with my finances. So the upcoming month, I'm sure one of my goals is going to definitely be related to savings and investments because I'm actually trying to start that up. I'm actually trying to start up several different savings accounts to kind of build up my cash flow structure. I feel like in my opinion, I feel like my personal finances, I need to build it as a business structure in sort. Have a certain cash flow where I know where things go and why they're there, their purpose. So segregate them into their own little buckets so that I know this money is set aside for this. It's kind of building the organization of my money so that I'm not just overly spending in this area and then taking money from where money could be towards something else. So it's just an organization thing. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on for next year or for next month. And then this past week, I was focusing on implementing discipline in areas of my relationship. And I realized one area that I really, really need more progress on is having empathy. And so I made this study a part of my resonating statements because, again, it's something that I want to look back on, read, and remind myself the importance of having empathy. So empathy equips you with the ability to manage stress and regulate your emotions. I can tell you I have today had a whole day of needing to regulate my emotions and giving understanding, reflecting, compassion, and support. Oh man, like it really hit me real hard today with this particular skill. And it's really pushing me to practice it for sure. So practice understanding and considering the perspectives of others. Show kindness and support even when you disagree with someone. So that's just a general reminder. And then this week I'll be studying, and I'm actually going to be sharing my studies from today about implementing discipline in the areas of my soul. So, when talking about implementing discipline in areas of my life, I have actually focused on how I've implemented discipline in the areas of my mental through self care, through going to the gym, through limiting social media and turning off notifications on my phone, just protecting my ear gates and what I'm exposing myself to. Career wise, managing my time better by using work logs and priority lists. Finance wise, creating a budget for those weekend getaways and refraining from going out to eat and spending money unnecessarily. I don't think I've gone out to eat except for Mother's Day weekend. I haven't ordered out at a fast food place this month at all. Just because I've noticed how much it has cost when I track my spending, how much money I've actually spent on food. And my body, same thing, physically, gone to the gym, implementing sticking to my low carb, low calorie, high protein diet, taking my walk breaks. That has really helped out a lot during my work schedule. Recreation wise, I've been taking time off, taking rest days to rest. Work life balance is very important. Activities that I've engaged in related to my goals for this month, I made sure they aligned with what my goals were. Organization wise, I definitely love using my calendar on my phone for my personal things. And then at work, I use a calendar as well for events, meetings, and PTO time that I take off. So that has helped me out tremendously with staying organized. And then also the Excel sheet that I use to track my work log and my progress on my task at work over time has been helping me. And my heart relationship wise, I try to keep an open communication with my boyfriend, family, friends, and others. And that helps me communicate my boundaries, being an active listener and resolving conflicts. Emotionally, that's where I'm talking about that's if and lack of empathy. I've I've self-reflected on my lack of empathy for others when I may feel as if they're experiencing something that could have been avoided. I have learned that I lack empathy in these situations in an attempt to set an emotional boundary for myself to not become overly emotionally involved. Instead, I should convert the excess empathy to compassion by saying, that sounds so awful. Is there something I can do for you? Just offering, prompting myself to offer, to validate, to acknowledge their feelings. And then also, questioning about, okay, is there anything that you feel like I could do to help? Like, what is there that you would think that would help you as a way to move the energy a little bit from the complaining side? And then socially, when communicating, actively listening, I always try to ask questions. So I'm not assuming what someone means. I give them a chance to explain. And then this week is going to be related to my soul. So my May 2025 goals, I have met 3 out of them so far. And I'm on my way to meet the others. So how to implement discipline in your soul. So self-reflection, introspection, surrender, and silence and solitude. So let me go dive deeper into what is meant by those 4 bulleted points. So first of all, implementing discipline across soul, character, purpose, and spirituality involves cultivating habits that fosters growth and transformation. This includes practices like self-reflection, prayer, study, service to cultivate a stronger inner soul, develop more character, find one's purpose, and connect with the higher power. So in soul, when it says self-reflection, it means regularly examine your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs to understand your inner world. And I have done that. I try to do that a lot. I'm very self-reflective because even with me talking about the empathy thing, I go within and I examine my lack of self-empathy. I go back to those interactions that I've had where I may have lacked empathy for others, and I really reflect on the reason why. Why is it that I have done that. Go into my emotions, trying to understand, why am I feeling this way? If I'm feeling like today, I was feeling kind of frustrated, and I really kind of pulled back to try to assess, why am I feeling this? Not trying to avoid my negative emotion, but going through it and feeling it and understanding the reason why I feel it, so then I can effectively communicate with whomever I need to communicate with regarding why I'm feeling this way. I can give them a full picture of the why and what is needed to help me going forward, for support, to not make this be an issue in the future. Introspection means to engage in practices like journaling, meditation, contemplative prayer to deepen self awareness. That's kind of like going within, and through whichever strategy that you use, meditation, prayer. And I do need to do more prayers. Sometimes my prayer is throughout the day, and it could be something very, in the moment. It's not like always a kneel and a bow and a head bow, or in a closet or anywhere. In solitude, I might say a prayer just in my mind through my thoughts and stuff. But I do want to be more intentional and set aside time in my schedule that's dedicated towards this type of um, area in my life. Like whether it be the first moments that I wake up, or the first moments when I go to sleep, or both. Set aside that moment before I wake up and get out of bed, or that moment before I lay down and go to bed. Surrender means practice surrender to a higher power, or to your authentic self, releasing control and allowing for growth. So higher power for me, when we talk about higher power, there's only one for me, and that's God. So I know there are many different beliefs out here, but when normally people be talking about higher power, it makes it seem as though they don't believe in God. In my opinion, they're more spiritual. They believe in this whatever, whatever. That's not me. I not to knock anybody, but I just like to make it known for myself. For my belief and my standpoint is, I believe in the true living God, Jesus Christ as His Son, who died and was crucified for our sins and resurrected on the third day. I believe in all of that. So, surrendering to God, to my authentic self, just being my authentic self, allowing for me to self-reflect on these flaws, not thinking that I'm always going to be perfect. That has been a growing thing for me. Not being perfect, not trying to appear perfect, not overcompensating for my imperfections, but just being who I am regardless of my imperfections, and releasing control and allowing myself to grow. Like the growing pains, it really is growing pains. You have to go through the pains of realizing, man, I really lack in this area. It really pains you when you really, when I self-reflect and think I lack empathy, because I don't want to not have empathy for others. So it's really like something that really hurts me in my heart to realize that I lack empathy. But then I need to feel that emotion to be able to understand it, to be able to grow. And then silence and solitude. Make time for quiet reflection, allowing space for inner stillness and connection with oneself and God. I'm not going to mention higher power. I'm just going to relate that to God and my belief. But whomever else, whatever yours is, you can relate it to yours. But for me, it's God. So just like I was saying, I would definitely love to implement in my daily schedule, first part of the day, the last part of the day, and throughout the day. Just a moment of silence or a moment of solitude to reflect quietly on my inner self, and allowing my inner self to talk to me and to direct me, or allowing God to direct me, allowing God to um, flow through me and let me know what I should be doing in the areas of my life. All right, the next part, how to implement discipline in my character. Number 1, integrity. 2, kindness and compassion. 3, courage. 4, resilience. So let me dive into what is meant by that. So, to implement in the area of character, as far as like integrity, it means be honest and truthful in your words and actions, aligning your inner self with your outer behavior. Yes, honesty is very important. It builds your integrity. Being honest in all areas of your life, not just some. That's just speaking to me right now. Kindness and compassion, cultivate empathy and understanding for others. There we go. I definitely need to go within and to God with that one. Cultivate empathy and understanding for others, practicing acts of service and kindness in your daily life. Courage. Stand up for what is right, even when it's difficult, and embrace challenges with the courageous spirit. Resilience. Develop the ability to bounce back from setbacks and failures, learning from mistakes and growing through adversities. I have done this in so many different areas of my life as it relates to relationship, being married, that not panning out the way I would have thought. I would be married with kids from that marriage, not just one child. I would not have thought to be divorced, but things happen in life and it lends itself to it. And I had to give up that control, realizing that I can only control myself. I can't control anyone else. So for me to just think that it's just going to guarantee work without understanding that the other person has a part in it, and so I have to allow that other person to go through whatever their life journey is. And even if it doesn't align the way that we had planned in the beginning, I have to relinquish that control and allow that person to allow it to be what it is. Like things didn't work out. We got a divorce and life still goes on. Life is still great. We are able to co-parent in a positive way for our son. And so that's the best I can ask for right now. I can't look back. I've had moments when I actually kind of give you a more info about this, and I can go more in detail in later videos. But 2021 was a year in which, and it was actually around Mother's Day. It was actually around this month would be the anniversary of the day in which the relationship just went. Shoop. It was May the 8th. I remember 2021. Something happened that lended itself to where I just said, okay, this is it. This doesn't seem like it's moving in the right direction for us to actually work through this. So I had made plans to, separate, move out. I decided to move out because I didn't want the back and forth of the I'm not going anywhere. Well, I'll just go ahead and go. For the sake of my peace, I will leave. And so I moved out in 2021. I actually moved out in June the 1st. I was out. Incident, the last little straw happened May the 8th. By June the 1st, I was already out into another place. And from there, I had to pick myself up. I had to really reflect on what I had, what I lost. Two-parent household, growing up in a two-parent household, two parents who were married throughout my childhood, and not having that for my son, and realizing that it's not always, the goal to try to force that to happen if it's something that's not healthy, if it's something that's not emotionally healthy for you to stay in. For me, it wasn't. So I realized that in that moment, I had to assess whether I did the right thing, where was my accountability, and the failure of the relationship. I had to own my part in it as well, not just pointing the finger. I went through a long list of growing, um, and just learning, and it really gave me a lot of wisdom on life going through that. And just picking up the pieces, how it says bounce back from setbacks, picking up the pieces of now going from a two paycheck household to a one, which I've always been able to pay my bills based off of my one. But it was just like it was a nice cushion to have two paychecks. Like it's actually paying double, having double amount of money to access for different things that you would want, and trying to set it up to where I'm able to provide and do more for my son, and savings and things like that. Just it really pushed me into the area of really buckling down and being serious about my finances now that I am a one paycheck household, because there are certain things that I would love to continue to do. And so that's what really geared me towards my secondary income, the incomes that I am focusing on being better at making money from, because of the whole, I don't know, as a single mom, like I don't ever want to have to go to zero. I can at least thankfully say that I didn't have to go all the way back to zero after the divorce. And some people, they actually go all the way to zero, meaning they had to pick themselves up, find a job. They didn't have a job because they relied on their spouse for income. They had to find a job. Just so much more that I didn't have to worry about doing, that many people that I reflected on, that many people have had to go through. But still, it still knocked me down some pegs, and I had to pick myself up. And so now I think I carry on my back, just making sure that I am setting myself and my son up for success in the future as it relates to that. So even in me engaging in future relationships, it's just something on my mind that I'm like, it's just like me and him pretty much, until someone comes along and says otherwise. But until I feel as if someone steps in and makes it a us thing. But even with dating, I still feel like it's me and him. Like he's my obligation. He's my first priority. It's me and him. I got to make sure that me and him is straight, because relationships come and go. And so I don't ever want to put our livelihood at risk on the account of a relationship. So this resilience kind of speaks to me in the experiences that I've had in the past, just going through a divorce, and then now on, dating again and being in a relationship again with someone. So I would definitely love to meditate and learn more about that. How to implement discipline area and my purpose. Well, number one, purposeful living. Two, visioning. Three, action and persistence. And four, commitment. So let me go more into detail of what is meant by each of those bulleted points. So purposeful living, that is something that I've been trying to do since 2021. Like I've been purposefully living before then, but that when you have those pivotal moments in your life, for me, it was the divorce. 2021 was a pivotal moment for many reasons, one of which was a divorce, or was a separation, because we didn't actually get our divorce filed until 2023. So we were separated 2021, and then the paperwork didn't go all the way through until 2023. So we were separated for a few years before the divorce finalized. So purposeful living means to identify your values and passions and align your life with them by pursuing goals and activities that bring meaning and fulfillment. So I've had to do that full on force. Um, Building these supplementary incomes to be able to provide for the things that I would love to enjoy in life, like traveling. I want my son to be able to experience different areas of this world and be diverse in those areas. And so I do that by traveling, by exploring the world that God gave us to live in, and like fully living life, not focusing too much on my job, not focusing too much on any one thing, but realizing that all these different things that I come in contact with in my life is only a fraction of my life, and I don't want it to take up any more than what it should take up. So just living my full life with all the many things that I want and like to do. Visioning, set goals and create a vision for your future. Then take concrete steps to make it a reality. And that's what I'm doing by my monthly goals. I'm actually implementing this. These are pieces of my vision. These are the puzzle pieces pretty much for the full picture. In order for the full picture to come into fruition, I need these missing pieces of the puzzle to come together. And so that's me doing that. And then action and persistence. Be disciplined in your efforts to achieve your goals. Stand persistent even when faced with obstacles. And I even have come to obstacles even in just this month. This month, I've come to several obstacles, different things that have prevented me from earning money on that goal number one. Goal number four about the sequel course, obstacles of not having the time. I've overcome that by combating that by putting it as a part of my schedule. The obstacle of not wanting to get up in the morning and go to the gym. Temptations of not wanting to stick to my low carb, low calorie, high protein diet. And just obstacles of relationships, the growing pains, the emotions, the different things, the disagreements, and stuff like that. There's so many different obstacles that I have been faced with even this month, but then I have to remain persistent and I have to focus. That's why it's important to have my goals, is because they are a focal point. I can always focus my thoughts onto those goals when I'm going through these hard moments. I could say, well, yeah, that does look nice to eat that piece of cake, but I see that I have a goal where I am trying to get to a healthy weight, and this does not align with it. So it kind of leads me back on the right path of where my goal is. And then, yeah, so um, commitment. Make a commitment to your purpose and stay focused on your goals. I am very much a committed type person because I'm highly motivated and I'm very tunnel vision when it comes to my goals. How to implement self or discipline in your spirituality. Number one, prayer and meditation. I definitely need to, even though I do that, I want to build in a set time in my schedule to make this a priority, where I'm actually diving more and deeper into prayer and meditation. Two, study and learning. Three, service and community involvement. Four, fasting. And studying and learning, I could say I need to read more books. I need to read more books. And of course, I need to go back into the Bible as well and study that. But I want to read more books as well, because there's a lot of learning that happens through reading books. Service and community involvement. Community service definitely could do that. I have been a part of the homeless coalition here. There's something I could do more. I need to actually be more active in that as well. And then fasting. I have done fasting. I've shared that I've done fasting, but I sometimes I do fasting for nutrition wise. I kind of try to make sure I know the reason why I'm fasting, because you can fast for many right reasons. Fasting for my belief. I could fast for event. I could fast just understanding if it's a personal fast or a spiritual fast. So, spirituality, prayer and meditation means to engage in regular prayer or meditation to connect with God and deepen my spiritual practices and deepen my belief in God. Study and learning. Study scriptures, religious texts, and spiritual teachings to deepen your understanding and strengthen your faith. Service and community involvement. Practice acts of service to others and participate in community activities, fostering a sense of connection and belonging. Doing community service is so it's not such a big thing. You don't have to do a big act. Like I've even had thoughts of just doing like peanut butter jelly sandwiches, like some care packages, like going to the store and buying several things, and then when I see someone on the street, handing it to them. It's just something that don't even cost that much. Like I could make that a part of my budget where each month I set aside a few whatever dollars and I spend money on doing that. And that's been something in me that I've wanted to do, that I'm really going to look towards doing and implementing, budgeting for those community service things, like doing something where I'm doing like little packages, and then I always have it on me. So whenever I come across someone in need, I'm able to give it to them. Fasting, voluntarily abstaining from certain things to deepen your spiritual connection and strengthen your relationship with God. And so and I've implemented fasting For weight loss, I've implemented fasting. For my growth, my studies, my biblical studies, and personal growth, faith, all of that. I've done it on so many different parts. Here are some key principles for implementing discipline in the areas of your soul. Number one, start simple. Number two, be consistent, be patient, seek guidance, and be open to change. And so each of these, for be simple, start simple. Begin with one or two disciplines and gradually increase your practice as you develop as a routine. And I shared in my intro video that I myself have to remind myself to, I actually have a thing on the wall right in front of me that says, keep life simple. Because a lot of times I might overcomplex things by trying to do so much at one time. Begin with one, eat one bite at a time. Don't try to swallow the whole elephant at once. Yes, I get so like, oh, I want to do this. Yes, I could do that. Yes, I could do that. That I'll be done compiled a whole list of things that I'm trying to do. And all it's going to do is drain me in the end, because it's going to be something I'm not able to be consistent with because I've tried to do too much at once. So I need to start off with one or two disciplines and then gradually increase my practice as I develop a routine. So I got to develop that routine because that routine is going to make it easier for me to do, so it won't be so much effort to get it done because it'll just be my normal routine. Be consistent. Regularity and consistency are key to building habits and seeing positive changes. So that kind of goes to the discipline. Yeah, I have to build that consistency to maintain what I am accomplishing. Be patient. Spiritual growth is a journey and it takes time to develop new habits and patterns. And I did a study some time ago where it says to establish a habit, it takes from 18 days to 250 something days. So that's almost the span of a year to really establish these habits. So I have to be patient to allow myself that time for the habit to actually develop. Because it might be some times where I fail at the particular habit. It doesn't happen and so forth. And so I just want to make sure that I'm not being too harsh on myself and trying to rush things. Patience is a virtue. Seek guidance. Consult with spiritual leaders or mentors who can offer guidance and support. Never be afraid to go to therapy. I've actually been to therapy over the course of the time from my divorce, my separation. I immediately said, let me go in to talk to somebody just to make sure that I am not veering myself on this down. I want to be proactive in it. So I just want to make sure that I would be okay, make sure that my son was going to be okay. And so I immediately sought out therapy, a therapist. Be open to change. Be willing to adjust your practices as you grow and evolve on your spiritual path. Don't try to force something to work. If it's not working for a reason. So I normally reassess, well, why is this not working? Okay, because I'm trying to do too many things at one time. So let me just try to focus on a few things at a time. And then I've been going by this hour by hour schedule. And sometimes I might be a little bit behind, but I've given myself a grace period of time to where I'm able to get back on track. So that has helped me out a lot when I'm being open to change and being open to changing things and not so rigid on my plans. Like, this is my plan, I got to stick to it. I give myself a little wiggle room, grace time. So if I'm behind time, it doesn't throw me all the way off for that whole day. So I've gone over my goals. I've shared how I've done with those, and I've even shared my studies on discipline and how to implement discipline in the areas of my soul as it relates to my my character, my what are the other ones? My purpose and my spirituality. Yes. So I've shared those with you guys. If it's something that interests you as well, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe below. And I will see you again tomorrow as I share with you again my progress on my goals on that day. Have a nice day.